بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله وآله وصحبه أجمعين. Let us start Yeah, this is close. No, I want to see it. Close? Yeah. Thank you. Alhamdulillah, salatu wassalam ala Rasulillah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Let us start, inshallah, with the assignments that I would like for you to take, inshallah, and work with, as well as the essay that is the final essay of this course related to your Hello? No, I'm in the class. I'm in the class actually. I thought you were in. طيب. She is. Yeah, but I'm in the class. Are you in the meeting? No. Like, are you coming? So sorry, I thought something to do with our class. Okay, so the evaluation of this course in terms of grades has to do with three components: 2 assignments and 1 essay. This is your first assignment that is due, inshallah, in a couple of weeks, by the middle of the month. Basically, from the 28th juz of the Quran, you can choose 1 surah, and through the cycles of reflection that we are talking about, analyze in terms of objectives, concepts, groups, and commands. Just look for the objectives. I believe Sister Rosima sent you this file to you this morning. She said she sent everything, and it's on LMS. And you can take a copy on LMS as well. So, 1 surah from the 28th juz of the Quran. So it's a small size. Look for the maqasid, the objectives, and I will explain more about that. And the concepts, the mafahim, the groups or fi'at that the surah is talking about, and the commands, the direct orders and prohibitions in the surah. And put your results in a table. This is not an essay, more than like a table, but reflection on one of the surahs with those eyes, with the objectives, concepts, groups, and commands. And objectives, concepts. Yeah, you have the file. You should have the file. You don't have to write down.
Okay.
Inshallah. Now, the second assignment is actually also related to reflection on the Quran. So choose one of the Quranic stories, any story of the Quran. Story of Nuh, Musa, Isa, Dawood, Muhammad, any of them. and find at least 3 surahs where the story is mentioned in different ways. So basically you will find that the story of Sayyidina Nuh, for example, in Surah Nuh, in Surah Shu'ara, in Surah Hud, let's say, and then so you have those 3 mentions of the story of Sayyidina Nuh. Now, analyze the relationships between the 3 contexts, there's an S here, and reflect upon the objectives of the events of the story. So basically, think about the story. What is the difference between the 3 contexts? You know, Surah Nuh, for example, dealing with Sayyidina Nuh and his interaction with his people has one context. And in Surah Hud, it's detailing the ship and the story with his son and so forth. That's a different story. And in, let's say, in Yunus, it's slightly different from Hud, and it has a different emphasis. Think about the objectives of that. Why do you think the approach is like that in terms of objectives? So this is about reflecting from an objective perspective. Why? The question of why. Why did Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mention that in this context? And analyze the relationships. There are differences. Why are there differences? And so forth. So this is another exercise. And this is also like 1,000 words. Just your let's say, reflections on that. The third exercise, sorry. This is due then in 2 months, end of April 2020. The essay. The essay, yeah. So this is the last one. So basically, this essay is about writing a mini proposal for your thesis, really, but using this methodology. So basically, choose one of the 5 circles of Maqasid scholarship. I will talk about this today. Identify a tentative area of research for your upcoming thesis. This is just tentative. What would you like to study? And my brother, I think you're sitting in front of the camera that they want to put on the website. So if you can, so I'm not sure, Allah. Yeah, if you can look at the camera, it's up to you. But it's just because they want to put this online. Yeah, please. So basically, yeah, please. تفضل. جبت لك كرسي اسود. So basically, this is about identifying a tentative area for your thesis, and discuss tentatively in 3,000 words how you are going to approach the thesis in terms of the Maqasid framework. And I will explain more today, because today we're going to talk about ijtihad, or what I translated as Islamic scholarship. So the scholarship that you would like to take to tackle this research question. So this is until the end of April, where your essay here is going to be some sort of a mini proposal, because we would like in the program for you to take the methodology that we're taking in this class as your approach to the thesis that you're going to study. Now, the thesis doesn't have to be as complex as the whole composite framework, the objectives and the concepts and all of that. It doesn't have to be that complex. You could focus on one of the concepts or 2, one objective or one value related to your question of research. And I will explain that today. Today the lecture is about this. It's about research and scholarship and how you can use this framework in order to tackle a research question or an applied issue, right? Remember? So you have your degree in applied Islamic thought. So choose an applied issue and then apply the concepts and the values and the objectives in a particular way, which we will discuss inshallah today. So far, let me get back to like more formal definitions. Get to the, sorry, I want to get to